A leak further up the system in this job. Just the way things are panning out, the whole thing was done too easily as far as I'm concerned. Okay, let's run through it from the top.
For ease of communication, hostages are referred to as Yankees and numbered according to their importance. So, Yankee 1, Yankee 2, Yankee 3 and Yankee 4.
Remember the Minister, she's our most important target. Run through the X-rays.
Terrorists are X-rays. Again, a simple way of making sure everyone is singing from the same song sheet.
X-ray 1-2. This is the top guy. He's definitely ex-military. This guy knows his cookies. X-ray 1-3. Slobodan. 24 years old. Very committed to the cause. 1-4. He was part of the BG team for the President. But he never planned this operation on his own. This came from higher up as well. There's another terrorist, X-ray 1-5, who we don't have a picture of at the present time. So be very aware. Be one of them. He might try and act as a sleeper amongst the hostages. We're trying hard at the present time to get some pictures of him. Sniper team's out at the moment.
Snipers don't just shoot people. They also provide vital information on the terrorists, the hostages and their movements.
Stand by, stand by. It's the Sierra 1, activity on target.
The building is ringed by observation posts, each with a clear line of sight. The snipers are blacked out to reduce the chances of being spotted. They operate in a constant state of readiness. Stagging on, in 4-hour shifts, the sniper team eat, sleep, and even go to the toilet at the OP. They will not leave until the mission is over. The building is colour-coded for a quick way to ascertain who is where and when. For our team, front and back are white and black respectively. The right-hand side is red and the left green.
If you suddenly have a terrorist appearing at one of the windows, let's take this one here. We know he's on black. He's on the first floor. And he's at the second window. So the sniper watching that position would report back to control. X-ray 1-2 seen at black 1-2. Black 1-2 being the first floor, second window across.
To the outsider, it can sound like a whole new language.
That's X-ray 1-3 looking out of the window. Second X-ray in white 1-8 with a balaclava on, unidentified. Carrying along.
And in case you missed it,
that's X-ray 1-3 looking out of the window. Second X-ray in white 1-8 with a balaclava on, unidentified. Carrying along.
For the hostages, a siege is quite a different prospect from a kidnap. Previously, the terrorists had been in control. Now the security forces have them contained. But the terrorists could easily decide to sacrifice someone to prove they mean business. Sim Harris has a good idea what it feels like to be in that room. He was among the hostages rescued by the SAS from the Iranian embassy in 1981. That's what we saw on the live TV coverage. What went on inside the building up to then was a 6-day ordeal.
We seem to go from one crisis to the next, and as you got to one crisis and got through it, it might be a deadline. You know, if we don't receive X in certain time, then we'll kill a hostage. And as you go through each deadline, there's enormous relief. I mean, we had one where there was they wanted a broadcast made of their demands, and it took seemingly hours to negotiate and eventually get this broadcast made. But once the broadcast was made, I mean, I can't tell you what the atmosphere was like. There was literally hostages hugging hostages, terrorists hugging terrorists, and terrorists hugging hostages, because you form this sort of those of you inside against those of you outside. In our scenario, the terrorist behaviour is getting more erratic.
demands increasingly unrealistic.
Just give us a little bit more time. We're working on it as quickly as we can. That kind of money, we do need more time. 40 million.
As the negotiations deteriorate, our team are forced to prepare an IA, or an immediate action.
As soon as the team arrives, you must be able to brief them on an immediate action plan in case they start killing the hostages before you are ready with a deliberate assault plan. Pete, entry man, Johnny, number 2, John Mark, number 4, mate, yeah? Obviously what you're looking for is to do a deliberate assault, then you're in charge. And they haven't started killing any of the hostages. Remember the minister, she's our most important target to get out. The rest of them, pays them money, take their chances, right? With the immediate action plan, they've already started killing the hostages. So it's speed which is essential here. You've got to get into that building quickly, because the longer you delay, the more of the hostages are going to get killed before you get in there. Okay, our entry point is going to be through red in this doorway here. We're going to have about 200 metres to leg it. Okay, once the room's secure...
So let's say things do suddenly go bad. What if, for example, hostages have been shot and the squadron go in? What would an immediate action look like?
Stand by, stand by! Get down on the floor! Weapon! Okay! It's vitally important that even though you're moving very, very quickly, you mustn't forget your basic tactics of building clearing. You must cover each other down the corridor. When they get to the stronghold where the hostages are being kept, they must make sure that the rest of the team is with them before they go through that door.
None of this happens by accident. These drills have to be rehearsed, re-rehearsed, and rehearsed again. Of course, it helps if you have the right tools.
MP5, extending stock. 9mm, very, very accurate weapon. Goes over your shoulder, clips on, holds the weapon nice and firmly against your body. You have to use your hands. 2 30-round magazines, cocked and locked at all times. On the front, a torch. Where you point that torch is where your bullets is going to end up. Remington 870 Magnum shotgun, 5 rounds, piece of punch in the end. This is carried by the person who's going to open the doors. You'll wear it over the top of his body armour and his ops waistcoat on the piece of bungee so it's nice and tight against the side of his body. When he comes up to the door, he has to blow the hinges off, grabs the shotgun, pulls it out, bang, door open, lets it go, and it'll immediately fall back into his side.
Specialist ammunition called Hatton shells are used with this weapon. But of course, there are slightly cruder ways of achieving the same thing.
One of my favourite pieces of kit, once again for entry, door entries. Take this dynamic hammer, hold it, get it a good swing, right by the lock, and it will cave the door out. Stun grenades, flashbangs, lots of various names, but they all do the same thing. Loud bang, doesn't harm anybody, but it will distract the terrorists long enough for us to get into the room to do the business. 6 Sauer P228, 9mm semi-automatic pistol. This is your secondary weapon, and it's carried in your holster. If you have a stoppage in your main weapon, you'll immediately get down on your knee, draw this weapon and engage the target. Hopefully by that time the backup man will be in, he'll be taking out any terrorists from the room.
Okay, find the back,
Plastic cuffs. Plastic cuff everyone. Treat them all